Everybody. 943 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. He didn't just vanish, something happened. And we are, let's see, let me turn this off. And we are looking for him. We are the ones that have rallied for him. We are the ones, and I'm talking about Team Find Richard Halliday. And it's gone on for 943 days, and we're still rallying. We are still looking. We are still investigating. We are still putting together the pieces. And one thing that we have realized is that no wonder we need. Make sure I got all this. No wonder we need these agencies, right? We need these agencies because the time that it takes to investigate a crime, to investigate a missing person, to investigate the people that are surrounded in this case, that are part of this case, and going down. I don't like the term going down the rabbit hole because I feel like investigating is coming up to the light. So it's going down towards the light, right? Trying to find all the pieces, put all the pieces together to make sense out of them. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, and some, most of all, a lot of prayer. God on our side, absolutely. And it takes some courageous individuals that might not know Richard, that understand that we have a DOD, a DOJ, an FBI, and other agencies, Child Protective Services, the agencies that know things that are not coming forward because they're not allowed or whatever, but they can find a way, make a way. They can find a way, make a way. We have so many laws, so many regulations that everything can be twisted and turned to be able to do something. And that's what JAG is for. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk to everybody about today, about JAG, the lawyers in the military. And there are some good JAGs, but for the most part, you have to understand what they're there for. They're there to manipulate, to twist and turn, find a way through regulations, through the laws, in order to give the general the power to do whatever they really want to do. And there's enough laws and there's enough regulations and there's enough wiggle room everywhere because there's so many of them. See, with God's law, you don't have that wiggle room. You have very concise, mostly negative laws, right? Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt, so they're very negative. And so it doesn't allow the wiggle room like positive rules do, like, let's say, you shall live, okay? You shall be nice to your parents or whatever. That's so subjective. That is so easily manipulated. So negative laws are much more freedom oriented, much more understandable, and they're much easier for the law enforcement to defend. So, and to also arrest people against, because it's very clear under negative laws what they have violated. So the JAG there in the military is for the generals. The generals have JAGs all around them, especially the 4-star generals. It's like another appendage It really is. It's like another appendage of their body. And they don't do anything. This is what Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe said to me. He does not do anything without his JAG officer. No way. He doesn't do anything without them twisting and turning, and they were. And I even told um, the JAG officer, I said, that is non-punitive. And he wanted to give me a big old file and everything. And I said, you can go ahead and twist all of our regulations and laws whichever way you want, because that's your job. That's your job. To get the generals his way, you have to twist and turn and find a way to give him his way. That's the job. And it got pretty insane. And it gets very totalitarianistic. It gets, and you have to understand, the army, the military, is not a democracy. These 44, we have 44. I know I say it often, but I want to drill this home so that people understand how bloated we are with failure. We are bloated with failure. Okay? We have not one program that is successful. And these failures are 20-year failures, right? These failures are old, and it's like, would you want to invest in a business that always fails? No. Why are we sticking our money into this Pentagon, this Department of Defense, and all they deliver is failures, okay? And major failures, life-taking failures, life-threatening failures, national defense failures, national security failures. Okay, we have a colonel, a full bird colonel at his retirement, boldly talking about his doggy cult and rearing puppies. And this sex cult, and wearing his uniform with the doggy mask on, talking about this sex cult, wearing our beautiful, beautiful uniform, and let's see if I even have the pictures of this doggy cult guy. I know I do. And I think it is so, so important because it shows you. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know. It's not searching. Anyway. And I know I have pictures, and maybe someone else can put them up there, but I think it's really, really important to have this review. I'm not going to give up that easy. I'm just not going to give up that easy. And I just want to know why we are paying money for failures, because this is a huge failure. Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, I can't find it. Okay, so Rob, thanks for joining. Thanks. And if you have a question, please post it, and I will definitely read it. Because I want to tell you what the legal office said. The legal officer at Fort Bliss said, Robert, who was the source that informed you are entitled to all the legal documents up to your son's 21st birthday. And what did they reference when they said that? That was the response from them. I believe I really need that information. Why does he need the information? Look, this is it. We should say Captain Park, because Captain Park wrote this letter, and we're rereading and we're going through this because, of course, as you know, we're trying to put a book together. We're trying to put it all together so that people will understand what happened in Richard's case, and how, the crimes that were committed, because the 44 four-star generals and admirals do not care about their service members. They do not have their service members sick. They have committed crimes against humanity against their service members. They have used their service members badly with severe and continuous retaliation with the tools that they've had, that they have weaponized against their service members, and they have made them afraid. They have made them, we have one person in the brig right now, for nothing. For what? For what? It is for not wanting aborted baby cells injected into them, right? Isn't there a religious mandate for such a thing? So it is. We have a major problem with respect also in the military, and it is the junior enlisted. You see a disrespect to the senior enlisted and the officer corps. They don't respect them. They might obey them, but they don't respect them. They know what they are. They know that they are lockstepping to crimes against humanity, to threats against their civil rights. And they know it, and they use a lot of choice words out there, and you absolutely see that there is there's a major esprit de corps problem, like my dad said. Like my dad was so right. Rest in peace, Dad. And so, absolutely, this letter that is vile and vulgar, it is threatening. It shows that a West Pointer does not know his duty, has not been to charm school yet. A lot of these generals, when they make general officer or flag officer, they get sent to charm school. I guess that's what you would call it, but it's where they learn their manners. They learn how to talk to people politically, how to, I guess, do some psyops, and how to eat, how to walk, how to whatever. They go to charm school. And so that's why, like McConville, you can say, oh, he's charming. Yeah, he's charming, but he is the worst type of criminal. And I will tell you something about World War II. Those leaders were revered by the people. The leaders that killed in mass. Maybe they were very charming. Maybe they said all the right things. Maybe the press was on their side. But then they were mass murderers. And I would say that these generals, including General McConville, they are the worst type of criminals. They are the worst because they're doing it on our dime, in our uniform, with our 4 shiny stars on it, with charm, with the talking points that they are defending us. They are defending our country. They are sacrificing themselves, right? This is the worst type of criminal because this is what they say. This is how they act. And then they muzzle our soldiers and keep oxygen from them in the hottest of places. then they leave our technology behind, like our night vision technology they left behind in Afghanistan. Um, then they leave our most precious soldiers, our best assets, uh, our service members, our most valuable assets, our service members, um, to fend for themselves. The, the strong survive. There's no Medal of Honor ethos. There's no Good Samaritan. You see, this is, and then they allow the barracks to be co-ed. 9-1 in the Army. Okay? 9 males to 1 woman. A little unfair there. Whose bright idea was it to make the barracks co-ed? Who is so evil to bring forth a huge chance of rape and sexual harassment to the brave women that volunteer to serve in our armed forces? Who has done that? I would like to know. Because in the Marines, it's worse, like 1 to 400, right? On a ship. And yeah, she was turned into a body counter. You keep body count or we'll rape you. I wonder if that's what they said to Asia Graham in her barracks where she was raped and she refused to, maybe she refused to do the body count thing and said hell no, and that's why she was raped. And then they told her to shut up. Shut up. And she died of a fentanyl-laced medication. And what's going on with that? Why haven't they figured out in their failed 20-year, more than 20 years, failed rape program and sexual harassment program that maybe one of the steps they could take is to have separate barracks for men and for women? Right? That would be one little thing they could do to prevent rapes. Having these frat parties every day and bringing in girls during the COVID lockdown when the base is shut, the visitor center was shut. Maybe not doing that. Maybe following SOP, standard operating procedures for the barracks, would be another good step in helping to calm the crime that's going on in the barracks, the mess that's going on in the barracks. Maybe that's something they could do. Hello? We have the worst type of criminals wearing our beautiful uniforms with 4 stars. They're the worst. And we need to put the death penalty back on the table. Every war, think about our wars. All they're doing is maiming our young volunteer sons and daughters. They're maiming them physically and they're maiming them mentally. Look at the problem with PTSD. Look at the problem with drug use and drug overdose. Illegal drug use and overdose. Look at the problem with suicide. Look at the problem with alcoholism. It's huge. And then, I'm not even going to go into the family problems that are caused by the workplace being so hostile with these psyops, these hypnotic, oh, you are defending your country. I remember Jay Paulin saying, well, while you were sleeping in your bed on your soft pillow, I was fighting for the country. No, honey, you weren't fighting for the country. You were fighting for foreign and domestic enemies. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I have figured that out during this whole investigation of our missing soldier son. We are left defenseless. The DOD has left us even though they're still taking our dimes, even though they're still taking our trillions. Our trillions, yeah, they're taking it. But they are not defending us. And they are using, because they're hostages. Our volunteer sons and daughters are now hostages. And they are hostages in psyops. I call it hypnosis, false narratives, hypnotized by false narratives, by sweet little words that tickle the ears to make them feel like they're doing the right thing. But what's really going on is defending the interests of foreign and domestic enemies. Because we are in what, $32 trillion of debt, and we are having a food problem, we are having a fuel problem, we're having an infrastructure problem, we're having a school education problem, we are having a border problem, we are having a march into World War III problem, we are having dead soldiers in the barracks problem. No, they're not defending our country. And I don't mean that in any hurtful or judgmental way. I am just saying what is true. And the sooner our soldiers, our service members understand that they are in the clutches of 44 four-star generals and admirals that have sold out our country, sold out our land, sold out our people to serve the interests of retired flag officers, retired general officers that have big CEO businesses or whatever. Some of them. There's a lot of them. And what else? Who are the big foreign and domestic enemies that they are servicing? What is their big business plan that this military-industrial complex is serving? Because it's not defending this country. They are in Virginia. The Pentagon is in Virginia. And look at Washington, D.C. It is a mess. Our representatives are left defenseless, trying to scratch by whoever is going to support them in their next election campaign. They're out there selling themselves to the highest bidder, instead of defending the people, their constituents that they're supposed to be representing and defending, and this country. And that's why Lindsey Graham, who is our senator, could flick us off like a little fly and tell us he is not going to answer any of our emails or letters or phone calls or whatever. He is not going to respond to us. This is the demon that is so ready to send our volunteer sons and daughters into any kind of conflict so he can serve whatever military-industrial complex CEOs are supporting him in his election. That's my guess. And I think it's a very, very, very good guess. I have to put a little sentence in there. But it's very clear. And William Timmons is the same. He did the same, and he was called a coward. He was called, and even Lindsey Graham was called a coward but this was William Timmons' man. William Timmons' man, no respect for William Timmons, called him a coward. To our face. To our face. Yeah. If you're in South Carolina and you're hearing this and you're in the Greenville area, do not vote for William Timmons. If you're in South Carolina, do not vote for Lindsey Graham. Do not. Now, do our votes matter? Do they have little AI machines hooked up to our voter or whatever? Do they have it rigged? Whatever. I don't know. I haven't lived here long enough. All I know is in your conscience, you can be free knowing that you did not put any kind of mark on a paper for those two un-American sellouts. Sellouts. So, I'm sorry, but I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty good after everything. Matter of fact, I'm getting a little warm. I got warmed up now. I think I'm doing pretty good in handling all of this because this has to do with child porn, y'all. This has to do with child sex trafficking. This has to do with the border. This has to do with our military being involved in this case in a not a good way. In not a good way. So not only are they not defending us, not only have they betrayed us, not only have they committed crimes against humanity and are hurting our volunteer sons and daughters. Our sons and daughters that volunteer are not better off after they have served a few years, okay? They are hurt. They are damaged. I cannot tell you how many. I haven't heard one person tell me, oh, I'm a better person. I'm be all you can be. Better person, better off for serving in the United States military. Now, we've got to end that because we need a defense. And we need our dimes, our taxpayers' money, our future money, our debt. We need our debt to at least work for us. And so that's why we need an investigation. We need an audit of our 44 four-star generals and admirals who clearly have totally failed. Why would you invest in anything, give any money to anything that has failure, decades after decades after decades, and the destruction of our volunteer sons and daughters? Which the domino effects right into the family. Right into the family. And I'm so sorry. And this has been it's, it makes you cry. I was talking to my good friend today and she's like, this just is so heartbreaking that we have this kind of betrayal, this kind of treason at this kind of magnitude. It makes us cry, and go ahead and cry because we're human. We're not AI. We love this country and we love the military and we love the service members, and it breaks our heart that we haven't done anything for them to get them out of this situation. That Asia Graham had to be subject to a rape, sexual harassment, told to shut up, and then subjected to a barracks that was a marketplace for illegal drugs, and had to die in the way she did. And look at Caleb Smithers. How long are we going to put up with that kind of dereliction of duty? When you have a clearly injured soldier, young soldier, coming to his morning call, what do you call that? It escapes me right now. With night vision goggles on. And then he doesn't show up, and no one checks on him until things get really, really stinky in the barracks, and they start spraying Febreze and saying, "Hey, Caleb, clean up your room. It's starting to smell like a dead body." Not even checking on him. and he's dead. Fifth stage of decomposition. Go look that up, how long that takes. Fifth stage, that's a dereliction of duty. And there's so one story after the next. And we've had a suicide in our case. Matter of fact, that's a really important story. And they were angry that I said R.I.P. R.I.P. I was broken because of that. And yeah. Anyway, so much pain in this whole military right now. Failure after failure after failure. Failure is begetting more failure, right? That's what's going on here. And so why would we want to invest in that? So these 44, they need to be, I think they need to just, well, they need to be not in the uniform with 4 stars and not with that kind of power that they have at their fingertips, the entire military at their fingertips, when they're clearly just failures. And they're not failures. You have to get this right. They're not failures in what they want to do, because they're servicing foreign and domestic enemies very well. They're successful in what they're doing. They're apt. They're clever. They're charming. They know how to walk. They go to charm school. They know how to walk. They have a dresser that does their uniforms for them. They have a driver. They have these big staffs. We give them everything. We have given them everything. They have no excuse for all the failures. Okay, they have their own pilot and their own drive. They've got huge staffs. And they have a lot of power, a lot of bombs, a lot of machinery, a lot of technology, stealth bombers, submarines, fleets of ships with lots of jets, and I don't know what all those are. Yeah, but they have the power. Far more power than anybody has in Washington, D.C. And so that needs to end. We need good characters that love the land, that are trustworthy, that love the people, that will honor their obligation to care for our volunteer sons and daughters as well as they possibly can, and not run us into wars constantly for no reason except for the interests of a foreign and domestic enemy. We need to end that. And so this Jag that wants to know who's the source, look, we've done everything ourselves as Team Find Richard Halliday. Our source is Team Find Richard Halliday. Looking at, or you can say it's Captain Park, because if you can humble yourself, okay, I think I've been very, very humble in all of this. Very humble. If they only knew. I don't think the mama bear has come out yet. I really don't. I've been very humble. And it says, if you can humble yourself to admit to such a truth, perhaps I too can humble myself. Oh, you think you're the captain of a missing soldier? Total failure. Total failure. Perhaps I can too let go of my pride. Now listen to this. Because his duty is to take care of his soldiers. That's his duty. Perhaps I can look past our differences and offer what support is warranted with respect to your son's disappearance. If there is any hostility or animosity between us, let us bury the hatchet and start anew. Look. Oh, man. Can you imagine? Now, this was in April of 2021. Go back and look at what I was saying at the time. Yeah. As a sign of goodwill, he should be constantly at goodwill with us. We're looking for our son who's missing. I will offer what support that I feel is warranted. Really? You should offer total support in finding Richard. I acknowledge that Richard is missing. Oh, thank you. There is no evidence to my knowledge that would reliably support the case that Richard is AWOL at this time. That's right. I am happy to see that the Army has rightfully classified Richard as missing. I acknowledge that Richard is afforded due process under UCMJ. Richard is innocent of any perceived or alleged offenses until proven guilty. He looks really good. Richard looks really good after 80 subpoenas and warrants. He's a yellow Interpol, and he looks like a saint. He is a saint because he's a whistleblower trying to expose many for child sex trafficking. That's what I believe at this point with all the evidence that we have. Because the porn that's involved, the porn is all over. Y'all, the porn is so prevalent that they have, they create servers, right? And they just broadcast it everywhere. Okay? So what would get their feathers ruffled? It would be child porn. We still have not normalized child porn, thank God. It's going that way. They want to, but it's not. It's not yet. We need, and I hope it never will be. And so this is just, trying to connect dots. I genuinely hope that Richard is alive. Well, thank you. I condemn in the strongest of terms any trolling you have been subjected to. Thank you. This is a troll. The whole letter is a troll. Okay, this is I believe it's a total troll. So I've had it analyzed, and it's a total troll in their opinion also. So it's just it's a professional psyop. And of course, the JAG are involved, in my opinion, and the opinion of the analyzer. So outside of these 4 points, I'm afraid I cannot offer any more support at this time. Oh, okay. Okay. I wish I could offer more. But if your rhetoric, positions, and cause remain rooted in delusion, my son is missing, that's not delusion. You were his captain. That's not a delusion. You wrote this letter and you never mentioned the porn videos Richard turned in. You never mentioned that Richard went over and above the chain of command because he said you're very bad. You're very, very bad. The whole chain of command is very, very bad, and that includes Major General Clem Coward. That's not a delusion. This is such a psyop, y'all, and I hope that you can see it for what it is. And detach from reality. Oh, okay, I don't have my son in front of me. Okay, that's reality. And I cannot in good conscience offer additional support. I believe it would be disingenuous of me to pretend to support a cause I do not feel. He's a West Pointer. He has no sense of leave no soldier behind. Why would you want to be in a foxhole with this loser? Right? And I hate to even say it that way because he has been groomed to be that way. Okay? He has been groomed to not care because our 44 four-star generals and admirals are way worse than he is. Way worse. Captain Park is a little kitty cat compared to the evil that our 44 four-star generals and admirals conduct themselves in. This is nothing. Matter of fact, this is probably their work. One little jab. Let's jab them with the captain letter. Um, in my opinion. So let me be clear so there is no misunderstanding. I believe it was your words and the message that you preach on social media which incited your followers to engage in mob violence. That was never this. He is so delusional too, or this is just like a threat. This is like a threat. And none of this happened, you know. I don't know who had something against Richard's first sergeant. Um, I don't know. Uh, it could have been anybody because you see, our leaders do not command, do not earn respect from their junior enlisted. They don't. It is really bad. You should see some of them even punch him right in the face, and they don't even kick him out of the military for punching their leaders in the face because they're so desperate for soldiers, for service members. So it's so hard for me to. Perhaps one day, if you come from a place of reason, oh, I can't even read what he writes because I've read it too many times. And so I'll leave it up so you guys can, oh, I'll have to turn it on and you guys can read it. Um, so this is what caused us to say, okay, let's analyze this. Let's have it professionally analyzed. And this is what caused us to say, you know what, I think we need Richard's legal files. We need his legal files because we know he's a yellow Interpol. We know the truth of all of this. And we want to see what's in those legal files because they had to keep them. Even between Richard's counsel, all the memos between them. We need to have them. And they don't want to give it to us. Why? If I'm in a place of delusion, why don't they want to give it to us to give us some truth? And to invoke Jesus Christ, Christ have mercy on him. So this is, I think this is, I call it the asymmetric warfare, the asymmetric warfare letter. Another one of those, including our liaison, including what happened at McKillican Canyon, and including the canine dogs that, where's that dog? Huh? Well, what's the name of that dog? What's the training of that dog? It's such, including the task force Find Richard Halliday that was staged. It's so bad. The crimes are enormous, what they have committed in this case, I think. And that's more reason for everybody to share and get this out because we need to get our army back. It's been hijacked. And we need to change the leadership. We need to get some real training in there, real good equipment in there, and we need to mind our own borders, our own people. We need to be there for the land and the people that we love, and that's the United States of America, y'all, not some foreign country. Okay. So, and we wrote some other letters, so we'll see who. How the response will be. But I just thought I needed to let you know what's going on behind the scenes. Other things are happening. We have more information coming in all the time because I think I think the politics have changed. People don't care. Well, they know that COVID was like worse than an atom bomb being dropped on the world. Okay. And not in a virus way, but in a war manner, an attack. It was a psyop. We know that, I know this is my stance. This is how I feel about it. I do not believe viruses are real at all. I think the germ theory is trash, and viruses are just a good business plan. Well, I they're real in this sense. They are they're in silico. I think that is the best way to describe viruses. They are in silico on the computer. If you want to see one, you can go on the computer. If you want to read about it, you can go on the computer. But in reality, um, I don't believe in them. I don't believe in their contagion. I think the real problem is poison, poison water, poison air, toxins, um, fertilizers, sprays, bug sprays, and whatnot, and whatnot. It needs to be investigated. And I think that that viruses were a very clever way of skirting liability. And if they really cared about people's health, they would be all over Ohio right now. If they really cared about the environment, they would be all over Ohio right now and other places and other places. But they lie. They're liars. They are manipulators. They are absolute PhDs in PSYOP, in asymmetric warfare tactics, and military operations that are in silico. In silico. Yeah. And in fear. Okay, because fear is real. And they'll use psyops, they'll use their narratives, they'll use the media narratives, they'll manipulate through their in silico programs. Um, they'll have these great op boards and everything like that to develop the fear so that they can profit off of it. And it hurts a lot of people. That's my opinion at this point. So, and I hope I said it the right way. I'm not, the most apt person verbally. I hope I said it the right way. We're being scammed big time. Big time. On our dime. And it's time that we end that scam and we get a true defense back. Because we are the defense. Okay? It's our volunteer sons and daughters that are serving in the military. And they've been hijacked. They are hostages under these treasonous demon leaders that have been placed there to serve foreign and domestic enemies in a very clever, sly way, charming way, not so charming sometimes. We need to get our military back doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I think it would be much cheaper, and I think it would be much, much better, much better. And we would be a much happier country. A much happier. Because the whole DOD, they're the ones that, it's so bad, y'all. It is so bad. So, I think that is a good plan, is to, we need to retrench our Department of Defense. Absolutely. Totally retrench it. Okay, so that's really the response from that. Let me hear anybody else asking questions. I think that we, as the parents of Richard Halliday, a missing soldier, should be able to get all of Richard's legal documents and know who his counsel was and the memos of the counsel and Richard to help us find our son. I think it is our right to look for our son. We're allowed to. Okay. So I just want to see if questions asked, answered. There we are. Okay. Comments. Someday karma will get them. Oh, someday karma will get them. Oh yeah. Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much. Captain Park failed his soldiers and should not have his position in the army anymore. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think that West Point needs also investigation and auditing. Um, get Richard to his family in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. And today is Fat Tuesday, right? Today is pancake. I just came back from the church pancake dinner with so many amazing people, and we had a really good time. So I hope tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, and I'm giving a presentation tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I hope that goes well. It's not about Richard, but everything is about everything. Everything connects to everything. If we have uh, the will to help each other and reaching out to different groups, and you never know who is going to know who is going to know who is going to know who, and how you get information. So it's really important to be boots on the ground. It's really important to talk with people. So I will give a presentation on the um, Gleason's book that has been taken down from archive.org. I don't know why. This is an 1890 book written in 1890, and it's just about the way our sun and moon and stars, planets, eclipses work, and they take it down. Why? It's a good book. It is a good book, and you can still find it if you hunt, but not as easily like on archive.org. So and just pray that I can get some wisdom from all of this. It's keeping me keeping my mind working and opening my mind so that it will help in the investigation of Richard. So I will see you tomorrow. I'll do my live stream, or I'll probably do the live stream after my presentation. Or maybe I'll do an early live stream tomorrow. Yeah, I might do that. So stay tuned because I'll put out it's going to be a little different tomorrow. So thank you so much. God bless you. Please share everything. And I didn't do current events right now because I really wanted to talk about Captain Park's letter, and I think that it was a big help to us, and I do thank him for sending it. Um, did I call him a loser? Yeah, I did. I did. Um, I did. I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with him, and I think yeah, it's time for him to go to charm school. I guess I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to keep calm, and it's hard. It's hard. So I let it out. I let it out. I called him a loser. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what it really, in reality, what it will be. And that's why we want the legal documents. Okay, everyone. God bless you. Because, Richard went missing at the change of command. I think that is also noteworthy. So, okay, everyone. God bless you. See you tomorrow. And Rob always says, don't forget to tell everybody we love them. Because without them, we just couldn't do this. So, thank you. And let's save our service members.